Hi friends, my name is Oluwale Godwin and welcome to MOG Economics. Today we shall be continuing our discussion on publicly competitive markets. So we have publicly competitive markets part 2. So what are we going to be talking about in this particular video? We're talking about different types of profits that firms in the publicly competitive industry can make in the short run as well as in the long run. Before we start to discuss profits, we should note that there is a difference between the way an accountant measures profit and the way that an economist measures the profit. That is, we have two types of profit: accounting profit and then economic profit. Accounting profit and economic profit. So, what is the difference between these two profits? The difference between these two profits lies in the types of costs that they measure. Okay, we know profit basically to be equal to total revenue, that is the total amount generated from the sales of a particular product minus the total cost, that is total revenue minus the total amount that was incurred in the production of a particular commodity. So what is now the difference? The difference is simply the fact that an accountant measures only explicit cost and an economist measures both the explicit cost as well as implicit cost. And the problem is now, what is explicit cost and what is implicit cost? Explicit costs are simply the costs that involve cash outflow. They involve cash outflow, and implicit costs are costs that do not involve cash outflow, but then they are possible cash inflows. That is, they are potential cash inflows. So implicit costs are also called the opportunity cost. Now let me break it down simply. When we say explicit costs are costs that involve cash outflow, they simply mean that the producers take money and the producer has to take money from the business to buy an input. Okay, for example, let's assume that the producer hires 5 laborers. Okay, the money that the producer pays to the laborers happens to be called wages or salaries in economics. Alright, so the wages and salaries involve cash outflow from the producer because he has to take money from somewhere to pay them. In that case, we consider wages and salaries as explicit cost. For let's take another instance. We have the raw materials that a producer is supposed to use. Alright, this producer would also buy these raw materials with some amount of money. So because he's buying these resources with some amount of money, that simply means that the cost of raw materials happens to be explicit cost. An example of an implicit cost is simply the cost of a land that a producer owns without buying it. So, for example, let's assume that our producer inherited the land from his father, from his friend, or so on and so forth. He didn't buy it. That is, it didn't cost him anything monetarily, anything directly in buying the land, since the land was given to him in one way or the other. So, an accountant will not calculate the cost of that land when trying to calculate the profits of that particular firm, simply because it involved no cash outflow. Nobody paid for it. Okay, nobody paid for it, and that is why it is not going to be included in the total cost that is meant to be subtracted from the total revenue that the accountant is calculating. But then, if an economist is to look at that, an economist is going to look at land from the aspect of the amount of money could have generated if the land had been sold or had been put to another use. Okay, so let's assume that the piece of land could have been sold for an amount of money, let's say 200,000 naira. That is simply the opportunity cost, or that is let's assume that there are two choices. The land could have been used to build the plant, to build the plant on, or the land could have been sold. So simply because land could have been sold for 200,000 naira, an economist would say that 200,000 naira is an implicit cost. So an economist is going to take note of that when calculating economic profit. So that is why the accounting profit and the economic profit are not going to be the same. And in fact, accounting profit is going to be greater than the economic profit, and that is exactly what we have here. Okay, so we have accounting profit simply equal total revenue minus total explicit cost. How about the economic profit? Economic profit is simply total revenue minus the total explicit cost, that is what the accountant calculates. Then you can notice that this is in bracket plus the total implicit cost. That the economist is going to count that when calculating for the an economist is going to count that as a cost. Okay, so he has it to have the implicit cost, and at the end of the day, the total cost becomes bigger than what it was here. And by the time we do the subtraction, simply because the total cost is bigger here, our profit is going to be smaller here compared to what we have here. And then that is why we have this accounting profit is greater than economic profit. Anyway. Okay, so accounting profit is greater than economic profit. All right. So what do we then mean when we say that a firm is making zero economic profit? Does that mean the firm is not making any money? No. Okay, because when we look at the firms around, when we look at the businesses around, by the time they start to announce what their revenue was, what their profit was in a particular year, it's usually the accounting profit that is announced. Okay, so it's not the economic profit, and that is to tell you that even when the economic profit is zero, because it takes note of the implicit cost, all right, accounting profit is going to be positive. In fact, it might be as huge as 1 billion naira. Okay, so let's assume that the implicit cost for this particular business is 1 billion naira. Okay, if it is added to let's assume that total revenue is 2 billion naira. The total explicit cost, that is the direct cost, okay, the cost that involves cash outflow from the business, is 1 billion naira, and then the total implicit cost, that is when we talk about opportunity cost of the resources used by the producer, is also 1 billion naira. So when we have 1 billion plus 1 billion is going to give us 2 billion naira. Then we subtract 2 billion naira from 2 billion naira, we have 0. Okay, and that means there's a zero economic profit. But if the same thing were to be here, total explicit cost is 1 billion, but then total revenue is 2 billion. Okay, so 2 billion minus 1 billion is going to give us 1 billion naira. And then when the accountant prepares the books, the accountant says, when the accountant prepares the books, the accountant says that the firm has made a profit of 1 billion naira. But if an economist were to prepare that book, an economist would have said that the business makes a zero economic profit. So we need to understand that before we start talking about the type of profit that firms can make in the short run or under any kind of market structure. So there are three cases. So we have this in the short run. As long as the short run is concerned, there are three cases. A firm could make positive economic profit. It could make a negative economic profit, that is a loss, and a firm could make a zero economic profit in the short run. So a firm can be in any of these three positions in the short run. Now we have this position. Okay, we have this firm. This is a firm in the privately competitive industry. Okay. This firm is in the short run, and there's a way to know that. The way to know that is simply from the fact that there is average total cost and there is average variable cost. Okay, and that is to tell us that there is average fixed cost if the two of them are different. And it is only in the short run that we have fixed cost, not to talk of an average fixed cost. If it were in the long run, there's no need for having two costs, because the average total cost would have been equal to the average variable cost, because all factors are now variable, none of them is fixed. And now, this is what we have for this particular firm. Now look at the average total cost, then look at the demand curve. In the first class, we had already spoken about why the demand curve, okay, why the price is equal to the average revenue, as well as equal to the marginal revenue, then which later equals the marginal cost curve. Alright, so when our producer maximizes profits, okay, so we have in maximizing profits at the point where the marginal cost curve, okay, the marginal cost curve is cutting the ABC and the ATC curve right from underneath, okay, so right at their minimum point. Then when the marginal cost curve is equal to the marginal revenue, alright, we say that a firm is maximizing its profit. So now look at this particular position. This is the marginal cost curve, okay, and we have the marginal revenue curve along this line also represents the marginal revenue curve. So where MC equals MR, okay, so this point is where profit is maximized. So what we now have to do is to look for where the average total cost curve is, because that is what really matters if we are talking about the calculation of profit. Okay. So look at it. We have the average total cost here. So what we just have to do is to trace these points, and we trace it down here to the average total cost curve. So we have this. Alright, so this represents the average total cost, or simply called the average cost. Then we bring this down, and this represents Q1. Alright, so in this particular case, how do we calculate the profit? Profit is simply, look at it, P1 then multiply by Q1. Okay, so profits, we denote this as profit, is simply P1 Q1. Okay, then we subtract average cost from we subtract, okay, AC Q1, so we have minus AC, okay, Q1. So what does this simply mean? It simply means that at this price and this quantity, what is the total revenue? Okay, and we know total revenue to be price multiplied by quantity. Okay, since that is the case, so we say P1 multiplied by the quantity that this producer is producing when he is maximizing his profit. Then subtracted, we subtract, okay, then the same Q1 having traces to the average total cost curve, which is also called the average cost curve. Okay, we get an average cost here. So AC multiplied by Q1. Alright, so all of this is TR. Okay, minus average cost times quantity is simply total cost. Now look at this, which is bigger. Okay, which is bigger? Of course, the total revenue is bigger because the price is higher. Okay, so let's assume the price is 5. Okay, and this is 3, and then this is 20. Okay, so we are simply saying that total revenue in this case is going to be 5 multiplied by 20. Okay, so we have 5 multiplied by 20, then minus total cost. Okay, because we have total cost here, and 3 is not up to 5. 3 multiplied by 20, 3 into brackets 20. Okay, so this is 100 minus 60, and profit is 40. So in this particular case, this the producer or this firm is making a positive economic profit. A positive economic profit, that is, even after we taking note of the implicit cost incurred by this firm as well as the explicit cost, okay, the firm still makes a positive economic profit. Now this could also be called supernormal profit, okay, or it could be called excess profit. So we call it excess profit or supernormal profit, okay, or we could call it abnormal profit. So don't be deceived no matter what the adjective is, okay. It's either we call it a positive economic profit, a supernormal profit, abnormal profit, excessive profit, or whatever it is. Alright, so that's about this particular case. Now look at okay, let me call this case A, and this is A. So let me look at the second case, okay, this case B. Okay, in this particular case, where is our producer maximizing his profit? Where is maximizing his profit? Is maximizing his profit where marginal cost equal marginal revenue. Now, marginal revenue is also this line. All right, like I said, it's going to be of good advantage to see the previous class on this to understand how we got to all of this point. All right. Look at this. We have this is the marginal cost curve. Then, since this is the marginal revenue, so where are they intersecting? Where is the MC equal to the MR? Okay, that is exactly at this point because we have the MR. This curve also represents the MR. The demand curve of this particular firm represents the MR. Okay, so this is the point. So what we have to do now to get the kind of profit that is existing is to find where the average total cost curve is. Where it is. Okay, it is. Look at it. It is up here. So we just trace this way. Okay. Alright, so this is the average cost. Alright, then this is the demand curve. Then we just bring everything down to get the quantity. Okay, so let me just call this MC. Okay, this is Q1. Alright, in this particular case, so what are we going to be having as our profit? Since we know our profit equals total revenue minus total cost. Okay, so profit in this case, so look at the P. Okay, the P is lower than where the average cost is. Alright, so nonetheless, we have P1, Q1, okay, P1, Q1, then minus, look at it, AC, the average cost, then multiply by Q1, AC, then Q1. So what's our profit going to be in this case? Our profit is going to be negative. It's going to be negative simply because the average cost is higher. So we could just say, we will call this, we call our quantity 5, okay? We will call this particular price, we will call it 8, then we call the average cost 10. Okay, since this is the origin, that this is increasing this way. All right, so in that case, what's going to be our profit? So profit is simply P1, Q1, that is 8 times 5, 40. Okay, 8 times 5 is 40. Okay, 40. Then minus, you look at the average cost and the quantity. Average cost is 10. Okay, and this is 5. So 10 times 5 is 50. 50. So we have minus 10. So there is a negative economic profit here when the average cost curve is greater than the demand curve. So this is what we have here. So we could call it a negative economic profit, and we could call it a loss simply. So when the average cost curve, or when the average total cost curve is greater than the demand curve of a firm, in the short run, the firm makes loss. Okay, the firm makes loss. Now look at what is the first case, where the demand curve was greater than the average total cost curve, and then the firm was making a positive economic profit or supernormal profit, or as the case may be. Now look at this third scenario. It's a unique one. Okay, so the firm maximizes profit where the marginal cost is equal to the marginal revenue, or marginal revenue cost to marginal cost. Anyhow, it is arranged. Alright, so where does that happen? This curve also represents the marginal revenue curve. Okay, so and where is the marginal cost for this? So it intersects the marginal revenue curve right here. But then what do we also observe? We also observe that this particular point also represents where the average cost is. Okay, so look at the average total cost curve. So the marginal cost is eating the marginal revenue, and the average cost and the average total cost as the same point. Okay, the marginal cost curve rather is eating the marginal revenue curve. Okay, as well as the average total cost as the same point. So in that case, the price is also the average cost, because when we trace this out, okay, on the marginal revenue curve or the demand curve, we get the price. And then when we still trace it out, because it is where the average total cost curve is, we get the average cost. So in that case, profit, okay, profit is going to be P1 times Q1 to get the total revenue. P1 Q1 minus, okay, since this is also AC, yeah, I could call it AC here. Okay, minus AC Q1. So profit here is going to be 0. Alright, so in this particular case, we have zero economic profit. Okay, this point is also called the break-even point. The break-even point. So when we say break-even point, we are simply talking about the point of no economic profit, no economic loss. So that is what we simply mean. Funny enough, a firm could just continue to remain here and not bother to leave this point. And in that case, it's that's going to happen because accounting profits in this case might be up to hundreds of millions. It is economic profit that we are calculating. We are saying zero economic profit, not zero accounting profit. All right. So even though this firm is at break-even points economically in terms of economics, an accountant will still say that this firm is making some profit. So it might be thousands, it might be millions, it might be billions, might be anything. All right, so this is the break-even point. A break-even point is simply the point where the total revenue that a firm generates is just equal to the total cost that it incurs, and the total cost in that case is talking about the implicit and the explicit cost. All right, so that is so there we go. All right, there we go. Now I want us to also observe something. Okay, let's return to this particular case. In the last class, we were talking about the shutdown condition. Okay, and the shutdown condition simply happens to be where total revenue is lesser than the total variable cost. And in essence, we're able to derive that shutdown condition could also be rewritten as where the price is simply lower than the average variable cost. Okay, so immediately the price is lower than the average variable cost, the firm should shut down. All right, so let's look at this. Let's look at this. In the first case, that is case A, look at the price that is charged when profit is being maximized, and then we see the average variable cost. Okay, look at the average variable cost. Okay, so the price is greater than the. Let me trace this out. Okay, so this happens to be the average variable cost. Okay, in this particular case, price is greater than the average variable cost. So the firm should not shut down. the profit, as we've seen that the firm is reaping a lot of profit. In fact, the demand curve, the price is even more than the average total cost, so this firm doesn't have to shut down at all. Now let's look at this second scenario. Let's look at the second scenario. This firm is making a loss, okay, because that was what we calculated the other time. All right, and this loss could range from, this economic loss could range from thousands of naira to millions and billions, okay. But then, should this firm shut down? Should this firm shut down in spite of the fact that it is making a loss? Now let's look at it. Look at the price that is being charged, okay, along this demand curve, and then where's the average variable cost? This is the average variable cost. Okay, so we have the average variable cost here. Okay. We have ABC here. Alright, so the price that is charged is greater than the average variable cost. So we advise this firm to remain in business. This firm should not shut down for anything. Okay, the firm should continue to produce. Peradventure, it is going to be able to cover its fixed cost and then start making a profit. In this particular case, our firm is making zero economic profit. But then, should this firm also shut down? Should this firm also shut down? Let's look at it. So where is the average variable cost? Okay, this is the price that is being charged. Where profit is maximized, that is where MC is equal to MR. We trace it down here. So this is the average variable cost. Okay. So this is ABC. Now look at where the price is, look at where the average variable cost is. So in this particular case as well, the price is greater than the average variable cost. So our firm should not shut down. This firm should continue to produce. So thank you very much for watching this video. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comment section. If you really enjoyed this video, click on the like button as well as the subscribe button to get more from us. See you next time. Thank you for watching.